Kenya. The panelists, both Rashmi and Laura, has touched a bit on the opportunities that exist in the media, in the shrinking newsroom, such as fact-checking, data journalism. They've also talked about content creation and what guides us as journalists, right? I'm saying us because I'm also a journalist.
Sure.
Now, please, from Media Council of Kenya, as a regulatory body, what other opportunities do exist in the shrinking newsroom?
Thank you very much for this opportunity. Greetings, everyone. So one night, Obonyo and Otiato were leaving a football match. They were watching at night. And by bad luck, Obonyo fell into a hole because it was dark. They were now approaching their home. So Otiato had to look for a way to get him out of that hole because, okay, it was just a hole, no water, no bad thing just below there, just a hole dug a pit, but was uncovered. So Otiato left a few meters away, and by the time he was coming back, guess what? Obonyo was outside. So Otiato asks, as everyone would do, because you're surprised, you left this guy out, you're going to look for a ladder, a stick, something just to get him out, but he's out here. So akamuliza, hey, what happened? You're out here. And Obonyo answered, you know what? When you left, a snake fell inside here. You have the answer? So that means when a snake falls and you're cornered, you'll find a way out, right? Good. So as we engage, please reflect on that story. I will be basing all my answers on the story of Obonyo and Otiato.
Okay.
Sawa. So now I'll just take one of it as AI, for example. Our previous panelists have been talking about packaging ourselves.
Yes.
And packaging yourselves means like you identify a niche, you go hard on it, invest as much as you can in terms of knowledge, input, so that you can be able to give a concrete output, right? So once you have that, we'll know you as, if we want a political commentator, we know where to go to. We want a sports commentator, we know where to go to. So how does that happen? Now, Laura mentioned AI. So AI, one thing with AI is that once a topic identifies with you, the search engine would mean that anytime someone searches for that, it's always you for that and your group for that matter. Yeah. So I pick it from there.
I am happy to hear the aspect of upskilling is coming a lot in this area. And as journalists, we are always looking at upskilling so that you know where you can go. And in this region, we have had a lot of journalists say, tunafanya kila kitu, because we need to get there. And actually the reality within the media newsrooms is that they cannot have so many journalists for each and every docket. So you have to know a little bit of everything. Talk to us about upskilling in terms of how best do you place yourself for these opportunities? Because again, we know the opportunity does not come for everyone. Si Mungu akikuja hata kuja, like akikuja pia wale wenye walitenda dhambi kando. So how do you efficiently upskill? How do you identify these opportunities? How do I know that AI imekuja? Laura has mentioned we are like, currently, people are looking at it from a point of it's taking our jobs, and it also came up in the last edition. But how do we identify, okay, there's AI, there's this challenge, but this is where I can place myself. How do I identify that?
How do you identify that?
Yes.
One is inward and outward. Now, what we're doing right now as inward, let me borrow a leaf from, there's a Greek philosopher called Plutarch.
Okay.
He writes and says that the mind of a human being is not a vessel to be filled, but rather it's a fire to be ignited, right? Okay. So since we noticed that the world is really changing, and ikikupata once you're in the market, it's really hard for you to adjust because already you have responsibilities, you have a lot of more going on. So as a council right now, what we're doing is going to schools. So we've started with the tertiary institutions, where now we have journalism clubs there, and you are aware coming. Yes. This Sunday we'll be having an expo at St. Teresa's Girls. Okay. So what happens is when we identify these talent early, like samaki mkunja angali mbichi, right? So it's easier for someone to go with a single mindset once then asikue kwanza na that thought kwamba journalism is hard or journalism is shrinking. What we're avoiding is the shrinking bit of this topic we had today. So we are really trying to have students or anyone interested in joining this noble profession having this mindset that it's gonna be hard and the opportunities are shrinking. That's what number one we want to get out of them. And then you see, as a regulatory body, we're not a policing like of you going out on the outlook to look for mistakes. We want to be like a partner, the big brother, a referee, you know. Game is playing, you can notice the fouls, you can notice but you can also tell the player, this is how you go about it, this is how you attack, this is how you make this is a competition, but it's a healthy one. It's not war, it's not enmity, right? Now, back to your question, you've said, how would you identify this? Much as I would identify an opportunity, if your strength doesn't lie there, or your interests rather do not lie there, it's not something you enjoy, it will be difficult for you to maneuver. That's why our focus now is to, no, even apart from involving the schools themselves, we are also involving stakeholders in the education system.
Right.
I remember in May and April, the regional coordinator was going to universities and engaging even the Council for University Education to do a curriculum review, even to check on the market needs, what the curriculum versus the market needs, because a lot is really changing. There are some lecturers that say kumonesha gimbal, right? A gimbal is something alien to them. So we want to know that the market needs are really met in what the curriculum is there to, what is being offered in the curriculum. Does it answer the question? And if I come out there, am I really prepared for that? Because if I come out prepared, and there's an opportunity that is there, I was prepared in school. So however much the opportunity is hard, I'll be able to handle it. So it's it's hard to do it when you're in the field because now you have a lot going on. But the approach we've taken as a council, it's easier if we just have that mindset on a learner back in school. So when they're outside there, they are better equipped to face it.
I really love the point where you have said it's all about the shifting of perspectives, and it all starts there. And as a regulatory body, you have said you're starting from way in school. Sorry. For journalists themselves, we have those who are actually in the media spaces, and we count a lot on each other, working a lot on collaborations. That means I also have a mentor in the space. Maybe I can call Rashid and tell him, I have a stretch here. Can you help me work this out? And now, can we say, you also say that you work, there should be a lot of stakeholder working. And also when we were designing this platform, both for edition 1 and edition 2, we really wanted academia to be present. So that we listen to the voice of academia. We really wanted to understand how this looks for them and what they're doing to prepare. Are they working in collaborations? What are they actually doing? Because the students are crying a lot. Now, as we look at giving this solution, you have pointed out the aspect of collaboration, working together. We have Rashid from Kisumu Journalist Network, and they work a lot with Media Council of Kenya. Kindly talk to us about collaboration and how it actually strengthens that bond, not only in terms of upskilling, but also in terms of identifying, because there is funding. So how can we take us through that process as well?
I'd still go back to the Expo example, because that is one practical one, which we are still undertaking. It's heavily invested in. Actually, even I'd mentioned that part of the gifts that we're giving to the winners is a podcaster's kit. You know, it's something that when we give a winner that, now they know what to do with it. They've already practiced in school, now they have a footing where to start off, right?
Yeah.
So now your question, how are we collaborating? So at an expo, we have judges, because as a regulator, we said we are not policing. So we cannot still start judging the students what they're doing. We don't know how it happens. So that's where now the journalists come in. And every other partner, even the Ministry of Education, they have their standards for which they assess called the competence of an individual. So we want to bring all that talent. When we pull all that talent together, we are infusing it to one person. You see, it's coming from different corners, but it's going to this one single person who is a student.
Yeah.
So that when the student is out there, is better equipped for what they're going to face.
What they're going to face.
So our focus really is mostly on the young person. And I'm so happy a bigger percentage of the audience here is students. We really like engaging students. Yeah.
So the students you hear, we have a lot for you, and you're being encouraged that the space, as much as it's shrinking, maybe look at it from a point of evolution. Get involved and be in the space and act in the space. Now, there is the matter of byline that there's byline, there's corresponding. How do we live beyond that, right? They have said upskill, collaborate, be able to mold and change with the times. They have talked, we are actually talking about mentorship right now, because now it's all about mentorship, right? Because you cannot move in the space. Enzi's Godfathers was there. Now we also have mentorship coming along. We have also looked at resilience and positioning of oneself. You can only position oneself if you also know what you want. But Laura also positioned, but not knowing what she wanted, but she was guided, right? So they are all, it's an ecosystem. So how do we keep this ecosystem alive?
Opening the possibilities, opening the minds of those willing to join or those intending to join. In this particular case, I just go back to the students of the possibilities that are out there. Let me give just one, a real good example is Joe Rogan. We know Joe Rogan?
We do? Do we?
Yes. You will look him up. I will search it up once we're done. So there was this discussion that apart from packaging, when you want to sell your news, don't sell that news. Create that audience first and then sell them something else. That's because now the main thing now is to give students the idea that journalism is business. Because the reason why parents fear for their kids not wanting them to join journalism is because they feel that I want us to really scrap off that shrinking bit. Because I think it's the building that is shrinking, but the space is really expanding. Because it's, it's infinite, it's in the air. Now like AI, we cannot quantify the amount of AI, right? But if we were to quantify a space, we would say this thing is 25 GB, this is 4 GB, but AI is AI, right? So it's not really shrinking. So what my point is, you create that audience and then now sell to them.
Yeah.
So this is why I was mentioning Joe Rogan is he's a podcaster. So he created an audience. And then there's this time in 2024 when Donald Trump was going again was a candidate for US presidency. He had an interview with Joe Rogan. So now that's the selling point, because after that, everyone wants to know. It's not even about Trump. It's now, who is this Joe Rogan? Get it? So after that content, the content he did with the Trump, now they look him up for any other content that he'll be putting it out there. If he'll go to the lake and do something on climate change, people will still want to do, because the credibility already is there. He did an interview with Donald Trump. So create that following, then sell them something. Yeah, because indeed, at the end of the day, journalism is business. Yes.
Chacha, you work at Media Council of Kenya as a media analyst. Do we all know who a media analyst is? We identify, we are aware. How many know? What does a media analyst do? By a show of hands. Oh, I'm the only one. Ni mimi tu nimeinua mkono. Who knows what a media analyst does? So it's only the two of us. We are learned. Sindio, the rest, please school us.
There's a gift
we have
for that.
had, Laura has talked about fact checking, data journalism, right? We have media analyst, becoming a media analyst. We also have the it's escaping my mind. We have data journalism, media and investigative journalism, right? And we have being an explainer, getting to explain what is happening, getting people to understand.
Debunking.
Now, before you answer, do we know any other opportunity that exists, if we are to mention? Do we? So, Chacha, please tell us, as a regulatory where you sit, these are the opportunities that exist, just for the sake of us also getting to get the solutions. We have students, we have early career professionals,
entry
and we
level,
have entry level, and we have media practitioners here. Maybe we know them by name. We know fact checking, we know data journalism, we know investigative journalism, maybe we know it by name. But you can start from, what do you do as a media analyst?
As a media analyst, well, so I didn't have the chance to give my story, but I'll just brush it up.
You can, enough. Yes, you can.
Go.
You can.
So my background is in political analysis. That's where the policy analysis come, and then the media analysis point of view. So my first degree was in political science, major with a minor in public administration. So after that, I worked in writing policy papers, research papers, and at one point worked for a campaign team. I was leading the youth league for a party, which I'll not mention. We are supposed to be neutral. So I was leading the youth wing. So my guy won. Of course, we had to go to the National Assembly. So I served as also I became the political strategist for him. I also did it's called in Parliament they do Hansards, yeah, writing what to prepare for that, preparing papers for them, like more or less like a research assistant, and then now communication strategies. So that's where Media Council poached me from. So what I do at Media Council is Media Council is a regulatory body, an umbrella body for all, both the print, online, radio, audiovisual, and television, right? So for what we check is not the mistakes. What we're looking for is professionalism. But much as we're looking at professionalism also, are journalists themselves responsible? And then as they become responsible, is there freedom for them to practice, right? Now that's where safety comes in. Now as an analyst, at my desk what happens is look at content. We do monitoring, like monitoring. They were CCTV monitors.
Yeah.
I would watch TV, do what is called piloting. Piloting means I look at the list of programs they have and at the what time they're being aired. Because we have something at the code of conduct we call watershed. I believe you all know what watershed is, the period within which you can air content that is
child friendly.
Yeah, fit child friendly, and also fit for it's family friendly for consumption between at the hours between
8 to
5 in the morning, to
9
at least
10
PM. Yes, 10 p.m. So after that's piloting basically, and then there's now the content analysis. Content analysis now is what is in these shows, checking for vulgarity, taste. How is this news item being presented? Because it can be news, you can present a news item in a neutral tone and pass the message. But then, like a political news, someone can give it a negative tone and really tell that this person is anagemea pande hiyo ingine. And journalism is supposed to be objective and neutral.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's where the work of analysis comes in. In our team also, there are moles from that other side. So they pick what we have in our night meetings, then they go package it and take it out as propaganda. Propaganda. It's not, you just take a half truth, you sugarcoat it, ongeza pilipili ho kidogo icing, you sensationalize. Sensationalism. Bring a sensational headlines. Yes. So as an analyst, that is what we really look out for. So it's not to look out for the mistakes, but to ensure that there's sobriety in the industry. Yes. So that everyone, because there are people who are following the law to the letter. So what if then the others are breaking it? It will be unfair for these others to be following to the letter, and the others are left to middle. So, and apart from that, we also give credit where it's due. We have awards. AJEA, which is currently it's AMEA, because now we wanted to. Apart from journalists, now we have now a lot is happening in the media space, so we want to include everybody. So it's the annual Media Excellence Awards. So it's AMEA, which was formerly AJEA, where now that's celebrating what journalists are doing, because you cannot be always just when people kila saa umeshika slippers kwa kona, you just want to be beating people around. No, always also you can also appreciate what the good people are doing. Sawa sawa. Yeah. So that's what an analyst does. And then from there, we do reports. The reports we do, they are daily reports, which accumulate to weekly reports. And then afterward, they are monthly reports. Now, with these reports, if something, we said we were checking out for irregularities or inconsistencies, based on, we have a small Bible, we call it the Code of Conduct. I believe the students have interacted with it, right? It has articles and clauses. So once we find an article has been breached, you do what we call an incident report. Yeah? Kama tu kuandika noisemaker for class, do an incident report. It's presented to our, we have, we take it to the monitoring department, and then they'll carry it forward. So station, say itafungwa on the first instance, they'll maybe they will be alerted either through a letter, because huwa mtu ashikwe mara moja tumefanya makosa fulani, right? You're just told here and here. Are you told why this is wrong, and then what you can do to rectify that? And then if you can't, I'll give an example of the I don't know if are we live? Okay, there's a TV, I'll give an example which is very notorious. It's called Sasa TV. It's by Papa Stonganga. So sometimes he becomes vulgar. You know he operates normal hours, church service. People watch church services live, and then women come waombewe hapo mbele, and then he say, wewe unajipaka makeup 2 hours hata urepiwi, So according to him, kurepiwa he thinks ni kukatiwa or something like that. The urepiwi. So the audience will not know the context yenye ameweka. So we'll try to tell them that this is much as it's your church, but what you're airing is for the public. So there are considerations we are putting there. So yote tisa, that's what an analyst does. We are eye on the ground for the council, trying to just put industry practice and maintain sobriety in the industry. Yeah.
We have had media analyst fact checking.
Fact checking, just as the name suggests,
yes.
How true. How true. Now, I'd borrow again from one writer. It's not a writer actually, it's a comedian. Mark Twain, right? You've heard about Mark Twain. Mark Twain wrote that a lie can go halfway around the earth before the truth even puts on its pants. Fact checking, what happens there is we want to check the source of this information, because the challenge we have now is UGC, the user generated content. Someone can just be sitting in their house, or there is comfortable in his bed sitter. He creates an image, a heap of bodies, and he gives a caption. And now people are left wondering what's happening. And the picture really looks vizuri. Or it'd say, let me just give a random example, that 16 people are being held at Malaba border, wakona Ebola. Because right now, you see they are bloggers, and right now the topic selling, so in Ebola. Ebola is popular. So someone knows, I can mention Ebola, anaenda juu. So as a fact checker, of course, AI pia imetusaidia there is iVerify, there's TweetDeck. If you've not heard of those, you can Google them and interact with them. Of course, they are free versions, but some are premium, they are being paid for. So this person would, once they create an uproar, right? They create that scare. So as a fact checker, one, utatumia TweetDeck, you'll support it with maybe iVerify. And then there's a practical one. Before the AI, before Hizo, fact checking involved calling. Mr. Rashid akisema about kuandika. Kuandika, you don't rely on. You have to read and call.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you'd call it's called the county health director. Yes. Is it or the to-go-to person.
Yeah.
The person handling health matters, communication or health. You'd want to find out if they are aware of this information, and if
Yes.
they are not, then information imetoka wapi.
Imetoka wapi.
Yeah. So as you do that, in the process that you just find a peculiar, like a funny headline, and in the process too umeanza tu kuprobe. That's already fact checking. The first step ukianza tu kuprobe that how true is this information.
Yes.
That's the first journey of fact checking. So you'll go around until you figure out. Now for images, like let's say we say after this session we would go and take a photo out there, Irene and I.
Yeah.
Then in fact the whole panelists,
Yeah.
and then he will post it, and then a blogger would pick it, and then I would do the tomato sauce on it, and then aonyeshe only you and I at Berlin, for example. Yeah. So as a fact checker, TweetDeck, I verify it. We'll even show you now the original photo tulikuwa Baraza Media Lab. So you'll do what we call just a simple comparison, compare and contrast. This is true, this is false. And of course, before they perfected the AI, kulikuwa you would tell a picture, you find someone with 6 fingers, 7 fingers. Like if you zoom in, picture ya mtu, it's distorted. But saizi AI is really improving. I don't know how we're going to live with it, but we will do. But I verify on TweetDeck those are some of the tools, of course, among many others that we use to do fact checking.
Yes, tumesikia mpaka hapo, si ndio? Let us take this time to appreciate our able panelists first and foremost. Tuwapigie makofi for the experience, for the enriching. Makofi kwao tafadhali. And for actually accepting to be part of this conversation, to enrich this conversation. Baraza Media Lab, asanteni sana for always having these forums, right? For always being part of it and always looking up and looking into the space for storytellers generally.